Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the training seminar for the Voters Assistance Campaign of the Rotaract Club of Makati. I am Rotaro, the Deputy Public Image Director, and I will be your MC for tonight. Just for the information of our guests, Rotaract clubs bring together people ages 18 and older to exchange ideas with leaders in the community, develop leaders and professional skills, and have fun through service. That is why we are meeting today to discuss one very relevant topic and see how we can be involved as a youth on this campaign. Expounding on the word involved, we hope that at the end of this session, after a thorough presentation of our speakers, you join us, participate, and really be a part of this nationwide campaign. Before I call on our president to officially call the meeting to order, allow me to remind you of some house rules.
Go ahead, Kirill. It's already flashed on the screen. Do you see it? You're on mute, Kirill. All right, I'll be discussing
Sorry, I
the
don't see it.
sure. I'll be discussing the house rules for tonight's webinar. Number one, everyone, please change your name into this format: club name underscore full name for Rotaractors, or just your full name for non-Rotaractors, or our students and working professionals who are present for this or for tonight's webinar. Number two, mute your microphone unless otherwise instructed, and turn on your camera once the program starts. Three, use earphones or headphones. Number four, show response like virtual clap or virtual like. And also number five, we have or use the chat box for your questions, and kindly send them privately to our MC for tonight, our Deputy Public Image Director, Kirill Dataro. And of course, lastly, you have fun and enjoy the rest of the night. Back to you, Kirill.
Okay, kindly note that only registered participants are eligible for the raffle draw and must be present the entire webinar so that they can claim their raffle prize. Otherwise, their entry will be forfeited, and take note that the shipping fee will be shouldered by the raffle draw winners. Also, only registered participants will receive the link for the post-evaluation form, which, if answered, will qualify them to receive the official certificate of participation. Transforming President Prem Kato, the body is now ready.
Thank you. By the power vested upon me as the president of the Rotaract Club of Makati, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Makati, Rotary International District 3830, I call this Rotaract Training Seminar for the Voters Assistance Campaign to order.
Thank you, President Prem. Now, may we have the invocation to be followed by the singing of the Philippine National Anthem.
Governor ng Bongga, walang nagano'n. Doon ako kay Petro sa president nila kay
Soul of Christ,
Thank you, everyone. Again, may I remind everyone to change their name into this format, their full name and their club name for the Rotaractors and just their full name for the non-Rotaractors. Now, it's time to acknowledge our visiting Rotaractors and guests. May I call on Secretary A.J.
Sorry,
Soprano to do the honor.
Kirill, let's do the four-way test first.
Okay. For our four-way test, may I call on Kim Derla for the recitation.
Please follow me. The four-way test.
The four-way test.
Is it the truth?
Is it the truth?
Is it fair to all concerned?
Is it fair to all concerned?
Is it fair to all concerned?
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
Will it build
Goodwill and better
Will or
friendship.
friendships?
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Will it be beneficial to all?
All concerned.
Thank you, everyone. Now, let's acknowledge our visiting Rotaractors and guests. May I call on Secretary A.J. Sembrano to do the honor.
Sure. Hi. Do you guys hear me and see me?
Yes, yes.
All right. Good evening, everyone. And I am pleased to be given the task to acknowledge the guests and participants for tonight's webinar. And this is entitled the Rotaract Training Seminar for the Voters Assistance Campaign. This webinar is in partnership of our sponsoring Rotary Club, the Rotary Club of Makati, headed by Perfect Vision President Peter Manzano, together with the Chief of Staff of the Rotary Club of Makati, Rotarian Ron Dotaro. Also with us tonight is past President Ju Abdul Kadir of Rotary Club of Makati Olympia. And we also have tonight the Executive Director of the Parish Pastoral Council for Responsible Voting, Ms. Maribel Buenaobra. And of course, our guest speaker for tonight, Attorney James Jimenez, COMELEC Spokesman and Director for Education and Information Department. We would also like to acknowledge the presence of the District Rotaract Representative of Rotary International District 3830, Mark Rolf F. Lianto. With him are the members of, or some members of the District Rotaract Committee who are also present with us tonight. First, we have Thea Abayon, District Director for Community Service. We also have Christian Patricia Omasilang, the District Director for Club Service. We also have with us tonight Ralph Eric B. Sapilio, District Director for International Service, and also Vincent Lorenzo Pinaval, the District Director for Professional Service. We also have Elena Gana, the District Rotaract Area Secretary for Matapat or Makati, Taguig, and Pateros. Lastly, we would like to acknowledge the presence of the participants of this webinar. Without you, this would not have been possible. We have actually a total of 163 registered participants as of 5 p.m. this afternoon, 141 of which are Rotaractors coming from various clubs across among the 10 Rotary International districts within our country. And we also have 22 non-Rotaractors present coming from the pool of students and working professionals. I know that it would be a lot of time if I'm going to acknowledge each and every name. And so I would only be acknowledging the name of your club and the district that you are coming from. Starting off with district or the Rotary International District 3770, we have 7 participants. They are coming from the Rotaract Club of Bulacan State University, Rotaract Club of Santiago. From the Rotary International District 3780, we have 3 participants coming from the Rotaract Club of Kamuning. Rotary International District 3790, we have 9 participants coming from the Rotaract Clubs of Mariveles Freeport and Tarlac State University. Also, we have 6 participants from the Rotary International District 3800 coming from the Rotaract Clubs of Malabon Central, Malabon Highlands, Mandaluyong, Mandaluyong Premier, Metro Novaliches Caloocan, and Metro Valenzuela. Also, we have from the Rotary International District 3810, we have 23 participants coming from the Rotaract Clubs of Cavite Aguinaldo, Chiang Kai-shek College, Manila Bay, Manila Metro, RCDM Scholars, UST Faculty of Arts and Letters, Unit, and UST Central. We also have with us 41 participants from the Rotary International District 3820, from the Rotaract Club of Candelaria, Rotaract Clubs of Downtown Calapan, Downtown Lemery, Lucena, Malvar, Maryhill College, Sacred Heart College, Santa Rosa Centro, and Tayabas Central. We also have participants from the Rotary International District 3830. We have 46 participants from our home district. We have from the Rotaract Club of Aroma, Rotaract Club, Rotaract Clubs of Alabang Madrigal Business Park, Barangay Santa Cruz, GK Satima Las Piñas, Kabataang West Rembo, Las Piñas West Happy, Makati, Makati Central, Makati Legazpi, Makati United, Makati West, Maximo Estrella Senior High School, Miraculous Medal Sukat, Muntinlupa North, Parañaque Metro South, Paseo de Rojas, Puerto Princesa, and Santo Niño, Parañaque. We also have 3 participants from Rotary International District 3850, from the Rotaract Clubs of Iloilo South, Lemery, and Zamboanga City West. And lastly, from the Rotary International District 3860, we have 3 participants from the Rotaract Clubs of Central Surigao, Greater Calbayog, and the Rotaract Club of Greater Jensen. I hope that every one of you will enjoy the rest of the webinar. Thank you, and you keep safe.
Yeah, if I may just add, AJ, we would like also to acknowledge the presence of PDRR Omar de Macurot from RC Melting Pot Tarlac, and also our Rotarian Ana Lilia Sapitan from the Rotary Club of Las Piñas, Camino Real. Welcome po.
Thank you, President
And
Frame.
lastly, we would like to welcome PDRR Xian,
Murillo,
Murillo. Yeah. Welcome
our
po.
immediate past MDIO chair.
Thank you.
Welcome, PDRR. Anyway, back to you, Kirill.
Thank you, Secretary AJ and President Prem. That was a long list. Now, before we proceed to our main speaker, may I request the president of our host club, Perfect Vision President Peter Manzano of the Rotary Club of Makati, for the welcome remarks. President Peter.
Yeah. Thank you, Karil. Yeah, okay. Of course, I would like to thank our TP, no, Ramikato, our Executive Director, Maribel Benaobra, and of course, our distinguished speaker for tonight, no, Attorney James Jimenez. Thank you for giving us your time tonight. You know, this is really a very, very important opportunity that is given to all of us as leaders, no? Especially you, the youth. You are really the future of our nation. Kami, mga ano na kami, may pa-retire na kami. All the mga 50 years old pa lang kami. Pa-retire na kami. Sa inyo na talaga itong future na ito. It's really yours. So you really have to count, no? You have to make everything that you do count. That's why we are very fortunate for tonight that we have a very, very, very good speaker, no? From COMELEC, our speaker, James Jimenez. I've known him ever since I was with government before. I've been with him in meetings, no? Even in Congress, and I think there's no question he really knows what he will be sharing us tonight. And we have to really, really listen to him because we'll really be getting the necessary guidance that we need. Our target for our campaign is really the 10 million voters, the youth voters, no? Again, it has been published in the papers that around 7 million eligible voters didn't register in 2019. Now, just for you to imagine how big 7 million is, that's the voting population of the entire Metro Manila. So that's how big it is. And if that additional 3 million is the voting population of Region 2, so ganun kalaki itong tinatarget natin na 10 million. And you know, that's 10 million votes is 10 million voices. We really need them to realize how powerful their votes are, because that's their voice. They really need to make known what they want this country to happen, or the direction that this this country should go. No, the youth vote is practically around 42 to 45 million. You really are the future of this country. It's your power is so the magnitude of your power is so vast. That's why you really have to tap on them. These 10 million votes, 10 million voices. We really need to we really need to talk to them, no, and really encourage them to vote. Of course, the first step is registration. There are 3 steps of this, 3 phases. I mean, the first phase is a voters registration. The second is voters education, and finally, that's your poll watching. Of course, we really want our youth to be educated, and then as soon as they are presented with the issues and they can already decide for themselves which direction they want this country to head on. That's why, as a last phase of this, would be your poll watching. You really have to guard your votes. You really have to see to it that your votes are counted. That's why in this 3-phase activity, we really encourage our youth, and especially our Rotaractors, because you are really, you don't know this, but you are really our leaders now. You are the budding leaders. So, panghawakan nyo ito kasi malaking bagay ito. So again, welcome everyone, and I hope that we learn something from this. Anything that you want to ask Attorney James Jimenez will be very, very happy to help out, no? And of course, for Attorney James Jimenez, we launched already the first parish-based activity. Of course, President Prame was there, and we experienced really some glitches because we really need to coordinate with COMELEC. Our efforts, is there, but we really need to work with COMELEC so that when we go there, everything becomes seamless. So again, once again, everyone, welcome to this very, very important endeavor. Let's make this a movement, no? A youth movement. So pagtulong-tulungan natin ito, especially sa inyo. So once again, thank you and welcome everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, President Peter, for that very inspiring welcome remarks. As he mentioned, there are 7 million voters that still haven't registered. That's a tough task, but we are sure we can all help. We at the Rotaract Club of Makati, led by President Prame, are really up to the challenge. Thank you again, President Peter. Now, before we introduce our main speaker, let us hear a message from the Executive Director of Parish Pastoral Council for Responsible Voting, Maribel Buenaobra.
Magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. Sa ngalan na aming chairperson, si Ms. Myla Villanueva, kasama ang aming mga Board of Trustees, si Ambassador Villa, we would like to thank you for participating in this webinar. I am very much impressed by you when you started the webinar, and I am looking at the future volunteers, future poll watchers, future encoders of the ballots in our in Popayos, in our command center. And I'm glad to know that there are about more than 100 participants nationwide. So I'm very, very pleased to be collaborating with the Rotary Club of Makati, as well as the Rotaracts, And maraming salamat, Director James, for agreeing to be our resource person. We highly appreciate your presence here. Definitely, we have 2 years to go before the election. So hopefully everyone who is participating in this seminar will be conscripted to be volunteers, to be poll watchers, to be encoders, and definitely advocates for the youth. Please tell your neighbors, tell your friends, tell your barkada, tell your fellow students, your fellow young professionals to register and to vote. And I hope to see you again in future voter education seminars. Magandang gabi po ulit sa ating lahat.
Thank you so much, Executive Director Maribel. Definitely, that's our hope at the end of this session. Hopefully, we have volunteers to help in this campaign. Thank you so much. All right, it's raffle time. Who's our lucky winner for the first round of our raffle? President Frame?
Can I see the energy of our participants? Can I see one sa ating Zoom chat? Just to check if everyone is still alive and kicking. Wow! Napakadaming one. DRR Rolf. I can see na talagang active na active, ha? At nakikinig
Very
talaga.
excited for the raffle.
Alright. So,
Ako
let me
rin
go
sobrang
ahead and
excited
just,
na ako.
Ano ba yung mapapananulan natin dito sa unang raffle?
Sure.
Share ko muna, no? Ang aking screen para din alam ng lahat kung ano yung kung paano tayo magpapa-raffle.
All right. So, as
Can I just
we have
share my screen?
as we have announced earlier, we have raffle items to be drawn the entire webinar. Earlier, we already have given one HP 32 gig flash drive, USB 3.1, and we still have some other items in store for you. And these are work at home and homeschooling essentials. So very important siya sa panahon natin ngayon. Also,
Yes.
we would like to thank and we are grateful for our sponsoring Rotary Club, the Rotary Club of Makati, for sponsoring these raffle items. Go ahead, President Pring.
Yeah, thank you so much, Press Peter, for this items para sa raffle natin. So, lahat ng mga nag-register at lahat ng mga active na nagkita ko na nag-one sa Zoom chat, may chance kayo na manalo
ng isa pang HP 32 gig flash drive.
Yes, and our Karil will be showing it to you. So, if everyone can see my screen, eto na po ang ruleta, umiikot na. Sino kaya ang nanalo? Congratulations, Pauline S. Miranda. If you are here, please type, "Thank you, Rotary Club of Makati" sa chat box. So that I
She
know
has
that
to be
you
here.
are. Yes. If wala siya at di ko nakita ang kanyang message or ang kanyang message na "Thank you, Rotary Club of Makati," then void to.
Or she can
I'll
also
give
show
you-
herself. Pwede niyang i-turn on yung kanyang audio and video to show herself to prove that she is with us during this webinar. Otherwise, this raffle will be forfeited and will be given to
Ano
somebody
lalaban
else.
ng mga kalaban? Ano palang yung gusto mo? Ang yung laban.
Sorry po. Ay, bibigyan natin ng 5 seconds si Pauline. If wala siya, then it's gonna be void. Magra-raffle ulit tayo.
Alright, so
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5.
Sorry, Pauline.
Sayang.
Next, remove na natin siya. Again, this is for active participants. Next would be John Marie D. Castillo. If you are here, please type in, "Thank you, Rotary Club of Makati."
So guys,
I'll give you 5 seconds to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow!
Is he here? John
Wait, I
Marie
saw
Castillo is from the Rotaract Club of Manila Bay.
Manila Bay. Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay, so your details will be
Is he
pag-usapan
here?
natin. So, nakuha na ang HP flash drive 32 gig and yung kanina din na nanalo sa icebreaker, we'll get the details later on. So, let's go ahead and proceed with the program.
Yes.
Thank you.
Just for the information of the body, we still have 3 more items to give out. So para ma-excite lang ang lahat, we still have 2 more Rapo H100 wired stereo headset black and 1 JBL go-to portable Bluetooth speaker to be given away later sa ating webinar. Back to you, Kirill.
Thank you, Secretary AJ. Congratulations to our winners. Okay, mamaya na po ulit ang raffle. Now, may I call on Deputy International Service Director, Robert Kyle Soralbo, to introduce our guest speaker.
So,
Hello,
Kyle, you
Kyle.
are on mute.
oh, sorry. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. And our speaker obtained his law degree back in 2000 at the University of Santo Tomas in Manila. In his years as a law student, he became the editor-in-chief of the UST Law Review from 1998 to 1999. He started working in the civil service right after he graduated. He started as the executive assistant to the then court administrator Justice Alfredo L. Binipayo, and also to the office of the Solicitor General, both for 2 years. He was a consultant to Commissioner Resurrection Z. Bora of the Commission on Elections on modernization with particular emphasis on public acceptance for the automated counting and canvassing project. Our speaker was also a member and served as champion president of the Rotary Club of Manila South from Rotary International District 3810 in Rotary year 2019 to 2020. Currently, he serves as Director of the Education and Information Department and spokesperson of the Commission on Elections on our COMELEC of the Republic of the Philippines. Ladies and gentlemen, Rotarians and Rotaractors and guests, I present to you a leader, a Rotarian, and a strong advocate for voter education. Let us all welcome Attorney James Arthur Jimenez.
Thank you. Thank you, Kyle. Good evening, everyone. Of course, TP Prem, PVP Peter, and of course, ED Maribel. Good evening po. And it is a pleasure to see you again. And to everyone else, thank you very much to Rotaract Makati in particular. Thank you very much for inviting me to be your speaker tonight. And before I go any further, I'd like to say that as a past president myself, you know, I've had experience with these virtual meetings, and I have to say, I have to echo what Executive Director Maribel said. You guys are incredibly impressive. I don't know that I've ever seen a virtual meeting run so efficiently as you're running this meeting tonight. So, you learn every day, and I might be here to talk to you about voter education, but please believe me when I tell you that I have learned something about running meetings from you as well tonight. So before we go any further, thank you very much for that opportunity. So I guess we'll just jump right in, and let me just share my presentation with you. I prepared a presentation. If the host will please let me share a presentation. So anyway, while we're working to make that happen, yes, indeed, I am the IPP, or the immediate past president of the Rotary Club of Manila South. And in fact, you'll see our logo in my presentation. I'm very proud of that. Just as you should be proud of being Rotaractors. And I think we're ready now. Good.
Yes, Sir Attorney Jimenez, you can now share your screen.
Okay, another thing though. I love how you call me Attorney Jimenez, but the thing is I am actually not a lawyer. So well, I'm not a lawyer. Anyway, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am James Jimenez. As I said, I'm not a lawyer. I am the spokesman of the Commission on Elections and the Director for Education and Information of that agency. You can find me on Twitter at Jab Jimenez, or you can find me on YouTube, where I maintain a YouTube channel, Voter Education Central, or on Facebook, same name, Voter Ed Central. That's where I usually spend most of my time. But of course, we do have a significant social media footprint for the COMELEC as well. And that one is branded COMELEC. So it's COMELEC everything. It's at COMELEC, it's COMELEC PH on Facebook, and so on. So, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. So, when we talk about Philippine elections, sa totoo lang, ito lang naman talaga ang mahalaga dyan eh. Every vote counts. That's really the start of the message and the end of the message. But, you know, COVID happened. And all of a sudden, things are a little different. So tonight, we will title this presentation, The First Philippine Elections of the Pandemic Era, because that's where we are now. We are in uncharted territory, and it is a little challenging. So let's start with a little context. If you want to be understood, first seek to understand. So first understand the milieu in which this is all happening. Anong klaseng environment meron tayo ngayon? Your webinar is to help you in your voter assistance program. And because of that, I felt that it was necessary for you to understand exactly what you're up against. And I'm sorry if this is going to get a little bleak, but well, you know, it is what it is. So in the last elections, there were 61 million registered voters, 61.8 million. And of that number, 46.9 million voters were actually from the youth. I'm sorry, was the voter turnout, and 22 million were the youth. So 35% of the voter turnout is a massive deal. 35%, and you're just one age group. And that's very important for you to remember as we move forward. In the coming year, in the coming election year for 2022, we have right now approximately 4 million potential new registrants. These are people, this is actually understated as a number because this only refers to people who recently turned 18. Ibig sabihin, by very definition, ito ang kabataan. 4 million ang nag-18 recently. But there are many, many more, in fact, closer to 7 million ang pwedeng maging registered voters sa ngayon. And doon sa population ng Pilipinas, meron tayong mga voters, about 3 million, who were registered, but because they missed 2 elections in succession, ay sila ay na-deactivate. They were deactivated. And we expect about 1 million of them to apply for reactivation for the 2022 elections. Why? Because a lot of people really naturally skip the barangay elections, and a lot of people skip the midterm elections. So usually in between presidential elections, nakikita natin that the number of registered voters actually goes down. So from 61, in fact, bumaba tayo down to around 59 right now. But we hope to build that back up kasi meron nga tayong ini-expect. Again, approximately 4 million potential new registrants and about 1 million to 1.5 million reactivations. Which means by 2022, we will have about 62 million to 63 million projected voters. But here's the bleak part. This is a very optimistic estimate. The reason for that is this projection was made before the pandemic really hit home. And as a result, a projection that used to be conservative is now considered very radical. No, it will take a lot of doing to reach these targets, but in the COMELEC, we believe that it is not impossible. So what's at stake in the 2022 elections? Well, nothing less than this guy. In 2022, the term of the President of the Philippines ends. But not just the President. The Vice President will also have to be elected. 12 senators will have to be elected into office, 1 party list representative, 1 member of the House of Representatives, 1 governor and vice governor for each province, 1 mayor and vice mayor for each city and municipality. And that's more than 1,000, by the way, and councilmen. Sa dinami-dami ng tatakbo sa darating na halalan, we are actually looking at more than 18,000 elective positions up for grabs in May 9, 2022. And it will start with this guy, the president. Okay? And that's what's at stake. Now, don't make a mistake like a lot of other people who think that only the national elections matter, because local elections matter just as well. And I just don't want to go into too much detail on that, but just as a quick reminder, remember that local governments, they enforce laws and national policies locally. So ibig sabihin, pag merong ginawang batas sa national, ang mag-i-enforce niyan sa neighborhood mo ay yung local government unit. And by local government unit, I mean the city government down to the barangay. All right? So they enforce laws and national policies locally, which makes them very important. They also enact and enforce local ordinances. So meron kang isang layer ng national legislation, but oftentimes meron pang additional layer ng ordinances na pang-local application lang. Yung normal, yung specific lang para sa inyong syudad. Halimbawa, there are a lot of Rotaractors there, and I'm not sure if anyone is from Baguio, but in Baguio, for example, there is a local ordinance that prohibits cussing in public, which means if someone in authority catches you saying a swear word in a public space in Baguio, you could actually be fined, right? So that's a local ordinance, and that has to be enacted and enforced by local government units. Local governments also perform frontline services, which is very critical, and it's something that we are now personally experiencing with the pandemic. You see, the pandemic really did one good thing. It crystallized the relationship between your vote, the way you choose, and the kind of service you receive from the government. And when I say service from the government, I'm not talking about some service from the senators, because, let's be honest, you don't feel the senators in your daily life, do you? No, but you feel them in the local government units. You feel them, you feel the effects of the pandemic and any aid that is given to you from government through the filter of the local government. More to the point, local government units, they manage scholarship programs. So those of you who are public scholars, people who get money from local governments, well, local governments, right? They also manage the use of public spaces, and they ensure public safety. In other words, local government units are very, very important. And so, siguro first bit of advice from someone who used to be like you, ladies and gentlemen, do not ignore local government units. Do not make the same mistake that I made. I'll be very honest with you. Nung bata ako, when I was voting, when I was a young man, and this was before I got into COMELEC, I would go to the polling place with absolutely no idea who was running for mayor in my city. I had no idea who the councilors were. I didn't even know what they were supposed to do. And so when I got to the polling place, I would just write down the first name I saw on the list of candidates. Of course, later on, I learned to regret that when we elected the lemon, and I realized, you know what, that guy had my vote, and if he's palpak now, then maybe I have something to do with that. So that's the epiphany I had early on, and I hope that's the realization that this pandemic is bringing on for all of us. So let's talk about enough context. Let's talk about the nuts and bolts. These are the things that I expect when you talk about voter assistance that you will need to be able to discuss with the people that you talk to now. So little details are vital, and they are vital because little things make the big things happen. Okay, so look at this picture for a while. If you don't know what you're looking at, let me tell you, this is voter registration. This is what voter registration looks like. This was in Quezon City. And this was voter registration taken before the pandemic. This is what voter registration looks like now. See the difference? Dati, siksikan. Ngayon, iilang tao lang ang pwedeng pumasok sa compound ng COMELEC. The reason for that, obviously, is the pandemic. So here are the main things that you need to know about voter registration during this pandemic. First of all, voter registration, it will run until September 2021, which means right now, we're coming to the end of October. We have less than a little over 10 months to go. A little over 11 months to go, sorry. It will run from Monday to Thursday, from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's Monday to Thursday because Friday we devote to disinfection. We want to make sure that our offices are clean and safe for everyone. Okay? Saturdays are off because that's disinfection by the local government naman. So 2 disinfection days for you so that you're safe when you register. Okay, so step by step for voter registration, the first thing you need to do, guys, is you need to go to comelec.gov.ph. Okay, you need to download the application form, CF1. You need to download the health declaration. You need to fill out the forms, but don't sign them. And if possible, set an appointment. Now, here's a pro tip. Bring one valid ID, but also bring photocopies of your ID. Okay? May photocopier naman sa COMELEC office, but here's the idea. The idea is we want to minimize the time you spend at the COMELEC office. Why? For practical reasons. Obviously, ngayong COVID, delikadong matagal ka na sa labas because you never know where the infection is going to come from. So, the sooner you're out of there, the safer you will be. So, again, download your forms, fill them up but don't sign, and if possible, set an appointment and bring one valid ID and bring a photocopy of that ID. Okay? Now, I promised you nuts and bolts, so let's go into a little more detail. When I say go to comelec.gov.ph, this is what you're going to see. This is comelec.gov.ph. Now, for voter registration, what you want to do is you need to focus on these 2 tabs. Voter registration tab at the top and the voter registration button at the bottom. Both of them will take you to the same place. Iisang lugar lang ang pupuntahan yan. So you click them and this is where it takes you. This page, okay? This page, of course, contains the protocols on the conduct of the system of continuing registration. Nandito yung mga health reminders natin. So if you have time, I strongly recommend that you read through the resolution. But if you're just looking for the voter application form, then this is what you want to look for, that application form button. You click on that and you end up here, okay? The application form page contains 3 downloadable forms, the CF1, the Annex B, and the coronavirus self-declaration form. And we'll go through that one by one, okay? So let's start with CF1. This is what CF1 looks like. This is the first page of CF1. So I want you to notice a couple of things. Can you see my cursor? Right.
Yes po.
Yes, we can.
Okay. So first note that this is 6 pages. Okay. So 6 pages yan. So make sure that when you're downloading this form, it's in 6 pages. Okay. Now, the other thing that I want you to notice on this page is this. Okay. All I did was zoom in that little corner there. And this is the download button. Okay. You'd be surprised at how many people ask me how to download this form from the internet. I know I don't have that problem with you guys, but remember, when you're assisting voters, this is tip number 2. They're never gonna be at the same technological level as you. Okay, some of them will be better, and a lot of them will know much less than you do. So don't take it for granted. Show them this button because that's very important. Okay. So this is the form. This is Revise CF1. So it scrolls down to 6 pages. We're not going to do that. You can do that on your own. But here are a couple of reminders that are very, very important. First, the download file is in 6 pages. Okay? Make sure that you get 6 pages downloaded. Now, you have to print this form, and you print it on long coupon bond paper. Okay, long bond paper means 8.5 by 13. Don't make the mistake some people make of going by what is considered long bond paper on MS Word. Because in MS Word, long bond paper is 8.5 by 14. So tayo, folio pala ang title ng ating long bond paper. But you know, Filipinos, right? So long coupon bond paper, 8.5 by 13. Number 3, print it back to back. Okay? Back to back. So, ibig sabihin, kung ang download file mo ay 6 pages, pero you print back to back, then your output is 3 pages. Page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6. Okay? So 3 output pages. And then use copy quality paper. Yung paper na medyo makapal, don't use onion skin paper, obviously. Use GSM 20 is what it's called. But you know, just to make it very simple for you, it's just this. It's just regular bond paper. Okay? Basta lang hindi siya masyadong see-through is what I'm saying. Okay? And make sure that again you've taken note of all of this. Long bond paper back to back, right? So, let's go into that in more detail. The first thing you need to do once you've printed it is you need to select the kind of application that you want to submit. Okay? So, halo-halo yan kasi doon sa isang side ng CF1 nakalagay application for registration, merong application for transfer of registration record, application for reactivation of registration record, and so on. So, you check all that apply. What does that mean? So, if you're a new registrant, for instance, then obviously you're just going to check application for registration because that's the only one that will apply. But if you voted before, right? If you voted before, but you want to transfer, then you want to check the application for transfer, right? But let's say you missed 2 elections previously. So you've been deactivated and you want to transfer. So you check both the applications for transfer here, and then you check the application for reactivation. Where is that? There you go, there. So you click, you check both ovals. Now, again, you can check all that apply. But whatever you select, whichever oval you select, remember to fill up this part, okay? These blank parts, okay? Then you put your name, Filipino, and so on and so forth, okay? If you don't know some of the information, then you don't put it there, right? You just don't put it there, just put your name in, okay? So, this is one side of CF1. The other side is the one where you fill in the boxes. Okay. I think most of you have had experience already with the boxes by now, and I don't have to take you through the conventions of filling them up. But again, please do not underestimate the people you will be educating because sometimes they really will ask you all of these questions. So, huwag niyo susulatan itong nasa taas. Itong application number at saka precinct number. Okay? we've had experiences where people would just not move forward until they knew what the precinct number was or what their application number was. Don't worry about that. Ibang tao ang maglalagay niyan, hindi kayo. So just fill up the ones that you can fill up. Here, okay? This references Annex B, but we'll get to that later. Make sure you fill out the forms properly. Unfortunately, medyo binary pa yung ating application forms. And until that changes, well, we're going by biological male or female, date of birth, and so on, okay? All right. There's this other thing here though, the TIN number, okay? This can be blank, all right? This can be blank. And ito, nako, make sure tama ang nilagay nila dito ha. Kasi sometimes nagkakamali sila and they have to come back later on to correct it. Now, I don't expect that you're going to have problems if you're going to deal with the youth exclusively. But sometimes you deal with adults and it gets a little tricky. Sometimes even the youth actually, no? Because marami kaming nakikitang married ang chine-check when in fact, hindi naman pala talaga sila kinasal. Nagko-cohabit lang sila, yung nagli-live-in ba? Or they live together. So chine-check nila married kasi asawa tawag nila sa isa't isa. Of course, that's a little ridiculous. And they're still legally single. So please do not gloss that over because it really happens. Okay. So this is part 2. So it's further down the page. And just to simplify it tremendously, this is really all you need to fill up. Okay. The green parts. Just check if it's a registration or a transfer, and then check if you're not registered or if you're registered in the previous precinct, all right? Just fill in your 3 specimen signatures, but you leave the thumbprints blank. Why? You don't want to get your form dirty and you still have to submit it. So leave that alone, and hindi naman lahat ng tao may stamp pad lying around. Yung day and month and of the submission, ayaw mo i-fill up yan, yung oath na yan, because well, you don't know. You fill it out today, but what if you're not able to go tomorrow? So, uulitin mo na naman, mag-i-erasure ka. So, leave that blank until you get to the COMELEC office, and that's where you sign the document in the presence of the administering officer. Okay? So, leave that signature alone. And part 3, obviously, it says it right there. It requires action by the election registration board. So, that is not you. Okay, that is not you. So itong dalawa lang ang kailangan mong fill upan dyan sa form na yan. Okay? So balik tayo. This part is all you. All right? This part 1 is all you. Part 2, just these 2 things. All right? Just these 2 things. I'm actually pointing at the screen. I'm sorry. I know you can't see that. But it's part 1 and part 2 here. And then part 3, again, leave that alone. Part 4, well, obviously, that will be filled out by the election officer. But the most important thing I need to say about that is wag niyong wawalain yan, yung acknowledgement receipt. And why, I will tell you later. If I don't, please remind me. Okay. So, we're done with CF1, all right? Let's talk about the supplementary data form, or Annex B. You need Annex B if you or the person you are helping to register will be needing assistance on election day. So ito yung may mga disability, no? Physical disabilities, medyo bingi, hindi makapagsalita, bulag, etc. But look at this. This says non-manifest. Ito yung mga illiterate, mga no read no write na kabataan natin, and sadly marami niyan, no? So please remind them that they need to download supplementary data form Annex B. Okay? And then they have to indicate the type of assistance they need. So it's either an assistor, someone who'll speak for them, or someone who will sign for them, and whether or not they need to vote in an accessible polling place. Usually yung accessible polling place natin, we need that for people who can't climb stairs, who can't negotiate stairs, either because they're not physically able to or because they're too weak. to negotiate stairs. A lot of them will opt to have an accessible polling place where they can vote on the ground floor. All right, so that's Annex B. Okay, there's an attestation form at the bottom, but you know, that's also part of this whole assistor idea. And now let's talk about the third form. The third form, I guess you must be really familiar with this by now, the coronavirus self-declaration form. Again, a lot of mainstream businesses require the self-declaration form. This is what ours looks like. Okay, it's the health declaration form. Let me zoom that in a little bit. And that's what it looks like. Not a lot of zoom going on, but it asks the usual questions. Have you had fever? Have you had cough or colds and so on? Have you had face-to-face contact with a probable or confirmed COVID case and so on? Please do not lie on this form. All right. Make sure that you fill this out properly and correctly for your own safety and for the safety of others as well, because this can be used for contact tracing later on. Okay, if you are identified as a COVID patient and you've been to the COMELEC office, then we will very quickly coordinate with your barangay to give them this information. All right, so you are filling out this form with that understanding that this will be shared if necessary for contact tracing purposes. Now, yeah, so again, just make sure that you don't skip this, and in fact hindi ka naman papasukin kung wala kang health declaration form. All right, and I don't know if I mentioned it already, but if I did, I'm just going to repeat it. No face mask, no face shield, no entry. This is what it looks like in the COMELEC office now. You cannot go in without your declaration form, without a face mask, without a face shield. We are that strict. And the reason for that is because we don't want people to be getting sick, right? And because we don't want people to be getting sick, you know, in the last 8 to 9 weeks of voter registration, I am very happy to report that we have not had a single case of COVID transmission at our registration centers. So you're all safe, and as long as we all do our part, then it will stay safe. So once you get in and you submit all of your form requirements, you'll go in for the biometrics. Ano ba yung biometrics? Biometrics, basically, these are, you know, things that help us identify you as an individual different from anyone else, right? So the first biometric we take is a headshot, okay, a picture of your face, and that's what's happening here with this guy, okay. This is a webcam, and the clerk is taking a picture of his face. All right. The second biometric that we take is your signature. This is a signature pad, and he's signing on it so that the machine is capturing an impression of their signature. Again, you guys, I'm sure that this is not the first time you've seen this, but for many of the people that you will have to talk to in the coming days and weeks and months, it will be something new entirely for them. So please take the time to explain it. This is not a digital signature. This is a signature that is recorded on a signature pad, okay? And finally, the most important biometric of all, the fingerprint, okay? Your fingerprints go into our database, and so what happens is, if someone else registers in your name, but without your biometrics, then that will set up a flag, and we will be able to take down that false account. It will also happen to you. If you register somewhere else and use a different name, and you're flagged with your fingerprints, then you will still not be able to register. The fingerprint, the signature, the face, all of these are collectively known in the COMELEC as biometrics, and they're instrumental to our campaign against flying voters. Okay? Makes it very critical because in the past, naging problema talaga sa elections natin yung flying voters. All right? So that's pretty much all there is to registration during the pandemic. So now, I don't know if we're gonna do this right away, but I would love to take some questions from you, because if you don't ask, then you might never know. Okay? So please, organizers, tell me where we're going here. Are we going to another speaker, or are we taking questions right away? Oh,
Yes, IPP.
wait. Hi.
Sorry.
Before you do that, sorry, I forgot. I have a couple of ready-made answers because I know it's gonna be asked. Okay? First of all, hello, wala nang voter ID. Matagal na. 2012 pa, wala nang voter ID. So please, if you were thinking of asking that, mabuhay ka, I got you right here. Discontinued na po ang ating voter ID. We do not issue voter IDs anymore. Okay? What we do have are voter certifications. Okay? Let's again zoom that in a little more with my lame Zoom powers. This is the COMELEC voter certification. Okay? It is as good as a valid ID, but you're gonna require a valid ID in order to get it. Okay? Then you need to pay 75 pesos for the documentary stamp. Okay? So you need a valid ID to get one. You need 75 pesos for the documentary stamp, but this is a valid form of identification. And for those of you, like, just, real world example, kids from the pamantasan ng lungsod ng Maynila, PLM, they're unable to get some allowances because they can't show proof of their voter registration. Well, this is it. The voter certification, if they can get it or if they get it, is proof. And dito mo rin magagamit yung form na sinabi ko kanina, yung acknowledgement receipt. Remember, yung sabi natin huwag iwawala. That's also proof of your registration. It's not a claim stub for the ID because remember, wala nang ID. Okay? And finally, if it's going to be claimed by a representative, which it can be, then you're going to need an authorization letter, or that's not a SPA, that's a special power of attorney, SPA. All right? So, yes, thank you. Balik na sa inyo. If you have any questions, please hit me.
Thank you so much.
IPP James, for that very informative and comprehensive presentation. Your talk definitely makes us more ready to assist in the voters registration campaign, but more importantly, inspired to serve to really make our vote count. Okay, now we move on to the question and answer portion. Actually, may mga questions na po dito.
Yeah.
From PVP Calixto June Obong. His question po, how can we be assured that an automated election, there will be no cheating? How come there is always a brownout during the count?
Okay, that's two questions in one. The first question, how can you be assured? Well, PVP Calixto, is it? PVP Calixto, just think about it. Just think about it for a while. Kailan ba pumasok ang automated elections? 2010. So we've had automated elections since 2010, 13, 2016, 2019. Dalawang presidential elections na. Okay? And in all of that time, we've had more than 100 election protests. Okay? And no result has been overturned. So, walang dayan. Okay? People have had, if it's 3 years in between elections, and you've had 4 elections in total, how many years is that? 12 years? In 12 years, no one has come close to proving anything wrong with the system. So, I'm not saying that the system is perfect. Lord knows, we've had experience with a lot of troubles. Last elections lang, si ED Maribel will attest to the fact na sobra kaming pinawisan nung isang gabi na yon. No, but the fact is, ultimately, doon sa 4 na eleksyon na yon, 12 years in total, hindi tayo nagka-problema with the results. The results have always been proven correct. Now, I can take you on a technical tour of the security, but that will take a very, very long time. So let me just tell you this. As with many things, no, one of the things that you can look at to gauge the the reliability of the elections is its track record. And as far as track records go, we have an untarnished track record of results being questioned and withstanding the challenge, surviving the challenge. So I think that speaks volumes about the reliability of the count. Pangalawa, in all of these elections, nagkaroon ng, in the last two elections, nagkaroon ng solid na random manual count. And in both cases, nagkaroon tayo ng accuracy rating of mahigit sa 99%. Ano pa yung hihigit sa 99%? Ay di yung mga point dyan between 99 and 100. No? So 99.99% actually was the last record. And finally, according to the SWS survey and the Pulse Asia survey of the last two elections, these elections were the most trusted elections in Philippine history. So I think, again, that speaks volumes. So that's your question number one. Question number two, bakit palagi may brownout pag elections? Well, not to be flip or anything, hindi namin hawak ang kuryente, PVP Calixto. Pangalawa, meron kaming task force together with all of the power providers sa buong Pilipinas. And what happens is, tuwing nagkaka-brown out, nagpapadala ka agad ng response team. So in the past few elections, mapapansin mo, yung elections either sobrang bilis or nagka-kick in yung backup generator. Because the COMELEC also sends backup generators to places where electricity is an issue. Hindi alam ng maraming tao yan. We send like thousands of generators out into the field before election day, and people never actually get to talk about it because, you know, generators, COMELEC, parang anong connect? Pero may connect yan because we know from long before election day na magkakaroon ng problema. Now, as to the real issues, iba-iba. Kuminsan, merong sudden outage from the power plant. Kuminsan, may mga power lines na bumabagsak. But in the last three elections, I think, with our partnership with the power producers, palaging nagkakaroon ng assurance ang mga power providers sa atin that lahat ng scheduled maintenance nila ay inuurong nila ang schedule para hindi mag-intersect with the elections. Okay? So, whenever power cuts out during election day, it's always because of some misadventure, some unforeseen event. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, IPP James. Again, if you want to ask question personally, you could raise your hand. Here's another question po from Maria Lorraine G42 from RAC Sacred Heart College. Good evening po. What if po kaya kung nawala na po yung acknowledgement receipt? Thank you po.
Yung acknowledgement receipt, pwede mo kasing gamitin yung proof to other people, not COMELEC, no? Not COMELEC. For other people who want to know if you're a registered voter or not. No? So, the form actually proves na nag-apply ka. Okay? So, ultimately, the best pa rin talaga is the voter certification. Okay? This thing. Yan pa rin talaga ang best option mo. Get a voter certification and that will prove that you are a registered voter. Ngayon, kung nawala yung form, yung maliit na yun, well, it will be a little more difficult for you to prove na nakapagparehistro ka, but it's not impossible. But you know what? It's really just a good idea not to lose things. So maybe don't.
Okay, thank you po. Next question from Eliza Pedernal. Pwede pa po ba mabago signature na ginamit noong nagpa-register?
Normally, hindi natin pinapayagan kung hindi naman error. No? Meron kasing correction of entry na application. And if it's a correction of entry, you have to prove first and foremost na may error. Halimbawa, dati, just an example ha, I don't want to get your hopes up. Pero dati, ang isa sa common request sa amin is palitan ko yung picture ko sa ID kasi ang pangit ng kuha ko. Hindi naman po error yung mukha ninyo. So talaga nangyari lang na ganun yung kuha nyo. So hindi nyo pwedeng palitan, no? Ganun din po yung pirma. Hindi na, kung hindi naman in error yung pirma nyo, nagbago lang halimbawa, then baka hindi kayo payagan magpalit ng detail na yon. Because again, remember, naka-record ito sa biometrics ninyo.
Okay, thank you po. For another question, from RAC UST Central, Marvin Marine, is there a chance to postpone the election due to the threat of COVID-19?
Uste ka pa naman? Wala. Don't even entertain that thought. The COMELEC is not entertaining any thought of postponing the elections, because remember, our preparations are really geared towards a 2022 that will still be under pandemic conditions. So hindi na what if ang pandemya sa 2022 para sa COMELEC. Given na yun. Yun na yung planning namin. So no, it's not in the cards for us. Hindi kami magde-declare ng walang election just because of COVID.
All right, next question from Sofia Angie Santos. What can you advise to all voters that will vote in 2022 in choosing who is deserving of their votes? What should be the basis daw po, and what should we take note in choosing who to vote?
Say again. Could you say?
What should be the basis and what should we take note in choosing who to vote?
Dapat tinatanong nyo yan, PPCRV. Si Ma'am Maribel will have a lot to say about what you need to look for in order to vote. No? But for the part of the COMELEC, what we're always saying is that you need to look at your core values. You need to look at what's important to you, because look, it's in the name of their position, representatives. They're representatives of the Filipino people. How can they be representatives of you personally if they don't share the same values as you? If for example, ikaw, naniniwala ka that again, don't hate me, but ikaw naniniwala ka that dogs are better than cats, would you elect someone who is a cat person? Medyo that's a hard sell, right? So make sure that you know what your core values are. You know what's important to you. And again, look for that in the candidates. But again, just as I said earlier, better people to answer this will be PPCRV. Sila yung merong checklist for that.
Okay po. Next question from PDRR Shan and RTR Shaina Morillo. If you have an existing voter's ID, how can we get a voter certificate po?
If you want to get a voter certificate, all you need to do is to go to the COMELEC office near you. Kung nasaan ka nakapagparehistro, I'm assuming. And then ask for a voter certification. You just provide a valid ID, not necessarily the voter ID that you have, but any valid ID. If you're a student, for instance, you can bring your school ID, and then you just pay the 75 pesos processing fee. I'm sorry, documentary stamp tax.
Okay, thank you po. Are there any questions you can type in the chat box?
If I may, sir, yeah, thank you so much. So,
Ako may question din po sa'yo. Ano ba talaga? Frame ba talaga o prame?
Frame po.
Okay.
Ayun po. So, yeah, last October 10 po, nag-assist po kami ng mga registration, ng mga youth and mga transferees po to register. We found out po na there are youths po, na out-of-school youth po, na doesn't have any valid ID. What they have is just the barangay certificate and their birth certificate. Now, since these are not valid IDs po, ano po kaya yung way for them to register pa rin po?
The best way, kung talagang walang voter, walang ID, no. And this is not just a problem of out of school youth. This is also a problem of, say, yung mga kasangbahay natin, or in some cases even housewives who have never had any reason to try to get an ID. The best way really is to bring someone who is a registered voter from that area. So kunwari, nakatira ka sa Calimon, kunyari Armando Street halimbawa, then bring someone from there who knows that you live there and is a registered voter as well, and they will vouch for you.
Well, thank you po. Kasi madalas po yun yung tinatanong sa amin and we don't know the answer. So it's really good that we have you here right now.
Thank you.
If there are any questions, go ahead.
I
You
have
can
a
unmute.
question po.
Go ahead.
As mentioned by President Peter earlier, we already launched the first voters registration campaign in San Ildefonso Parish last month. And one of the problems we encountered is the long line that the registrants experience in the COMELEC office. How can we resolve that? Can we also get a partnership with COMELEC so we can have a special line for our campaign?
Well, okay. No. Short answer to that is no, because ang nabibigyan lang talaga natin ng express lane ay yung mga senior citizens at mga PWD. All right? That is a privilege reserved to them exclusively. What you can do is you can help people fill out the forms beforehand, before they even go to the registration center. Pag ganun ang sitwasyon natin and you help them, number two, you help them make appointments. You can do that, no? And siguro, I guess one of the things COMELEC can help you with is if you have an identified person, maybe we can whitelist you. Okay? If you're taking notes, write that down. Maybe we can whitelist you so that mas madaling mag-appointment kung galing sa inyo. But don't hold your breath, ha? Again, all of this is in the realm of the possible, because understand this. Any preferential treatment given to anyone can sometimes or will always be misconstrued by someone else. Baka sabihin nila, ginagamit yung campaign ninyo to get more people registered to pack the list. So medyo delikado yan. Again, if you've sent more people to register, then just help them. I wouldn't recommend doing it as a separate campaign, you know, na para bang Rotaract sent me. Wag ganon. Wag ganon. Because that's exactly the kind of problem we're seeing with barangays, where the barangay chairman essentially try to bring their own tao to be registered ahead of everyone else. So medyo nagkakaproblema tayo dyan in general. So I would not advise that.
Thank you po, IPP James. We understand the situation of the COMELEC. We have a question from RAC USC Central, Marvin Mary.
Oh, hi again.
You can unmute your mic.
Hello, Secretary James.
No, just please.
I have a question. When it comes to oversized poster, what is the measurement? Kasi we have a politician here po. I reported the incident way back 2016.
Okay.
And uso po kasi dito sa amin yung pinagsama-samang poster tapos ilalagay sa sa plywood. Okay. So would you consider it as a oversized poster when it is pinagsama-sama?
Kung pinagsama-sama siya in a fashion that the combined posters make one big picture or one complete name. For instance, you have a picture that says that one board that's 2 feet by 4 feet, which is the proper size, no? That says R, and another properly sized board that says A, and another sized board that says C, and then you stick them together so that they say rock. Then that's bawal, no? Because that's 3 separate posters that mean nothing on their own, pero pag kinumbine mo, dun lang siya nagiging actual poster. So bawal yon. But if it's individual posters, like each poster can stand alone, then technically hindi yun yung sinasabi nating mali ang size. Kasi each individual poster has that size. Now, the situation you described though is problematic for another reason. It's problematic because in a common poster area, the common poster area is supposed to be divided equally amongst everyone running. Okay? So hindi pwedeng iisang tao lang plus tatakpan niya lahat 'yon ng poster niya kahit tamang size pa yung individuals. Kung inubos niya naman lahat ng spasyo, problema pa rin 'yon. And not because the posters are the wrong size, they are the right size. But mali yung gamit niya nung ating common poster area, and that is also an electoral offense. Okay? Pangalawa, kung yung ano naman, the only way that this can work is if it's an erected common poster area that was allowed to that political party. As a matter of rules and regulations, political parties can petition the COMELEC to put up their own exclusive common poster area. But again, even in that case, it's still supposed to be shared among all of the candidates of that political party. So again, problematic pa rin yan. So why do you see a lot of that? You see a lot of that because enforcement is difficult. Enforcement is really very difficult, no? And in some places even impossible. Hulihin mo yung batang nagpe-paste ng poster. Ngayon, 20 minutes later, they're back doing the same thing all over again. So it's very impossible. It's almost impossible to police. But do not make the mistake of thinking na okay lang yun. No? Hindi okay yun. But again, just to clarify and to just be very specific to your question, kung individual posters are stand-alone, then they have to be the proper size. And even if they're placed next to each other, that would not be a size violation. That would be a placement violation, not a size violation. I hope that makes sense.
Thank you.
Thank you so much again, IPP James. We have another question from Rock Sacred Heart College, Ralph Stephen Garay. You can now unmute.
So, good afternoon. I guess good evening po. So, how many years, itong tanong po ko ay sa voter certification po. So, how many years po siya valid or may expiration date po siya?
Walang expiration date ito. Wala.
Okay po, thank you po.
In relation to that po, sorry, IPP James,
Yeah.
so meaning po, yung mga nakapag-boto na po during the SK election, they don't need to register again?
Yes.
Okay.
Very specific, Prem, for the SK registrants who would have voted in 2018 or who voted in 2018. As long as you're 18 by May 9, 2022, then you don't have to register. Kasi merong mga rehistrado, I think, I'm not so sure about the math, but it's possible na merong mga rehistrado ng 2018 na baka hindi pa 18 sa 2022 no? By a matter of months or days. So it's important, if you are 18 on the day of elections in 2022 and you registered for SK before, then you don't have to register anymore. Diretso na yan.
All right. Thank you so much po.
Next question po from RAC CKSC, Danielle Lisette. How can we make appointment po?
Traditional ways, no? You call the COMELEC office and then you set an appointment. You say, punta ako dyan on this day, on that day. They will give you a slot kasi sila naman yung nakakaalam ng slots na available sa office nila. So that's what you're going for, no? So again, tawag or text. For all of the COMELEC offices in Metro Manila, in NCR, merong Facebook page yan. Okay? So just go to comelec.ph sa Facebook, facebook.com/comelecph, and you can find a listing of the Facebook pages of all COMELEC NCR offices. We're working to give you all of the Facebook pages nationwide, but that's a huge task. No? So let's start with NCR. So go there. And the reason I'm telling you about their Facebook page is because if they have a Facebook page, then pwede kayong mag-PM sa kanila. Okay? PM is key, ika nga. So, pwede kayong mag-PM sa kanila and a lot of them will reply to you that way. In any case, doon sa COMELEC sa Facebook page nila, makikita nyo din yung other contact information because some offices, they don't have landlines. They just use cell phones. Pero PM is key, remember.
All right, that's the last question po since it's getting late. And thank you everyone for your questions and your active participation. Also, thank you again IPP James for being so much game and graciously answering all the questions. I just wanted you to know that the RAC Makati chat group is in full joy as we are so happy to know that you've enjoyed how we conduct our meeting.
Yes! Oh my God! That was so good! Grabe, napahiya yung club ko ng di oras.
Okay, now it's raffle time again.
Congratulations,
President
everyone.
Frame.
Right. Thank you so much, IPP James Jimenez. For a while, let's just ask the participants if they are still alive. Can I see, or can you please chat on the box, on the Zoom box rather, 2, not 1.
Andyan, gising pa ba tayong lahat?
Ayan.
It's already almost 9:30 and everyone is still with us.
Yes, still active.
Right? Very
Yes.
active.
We have
still have
131 participants. Thank you so much for staying. So, let's go ahead and
Hindi na natin
kilalanin
papatagalin
natin
pa.
kung sino ang susunod na mananalo. Ang nanalo ay si Samantha Cervantes. Samantha, if you are here, please chat. Thank you, Rotary Club of Makati. I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4,
Is she here?
3, 2, 2.5.
Mukhang
One.
wala.
Wala.
Okay.
Meron po ata.
Ay, humabol.
Andyan ba siya? Humabol ba siya?
Yes, nakita ko. Samantha Cervantes. She said, thank you, Rotary. Ay,
And
kulang.
umabot.
Yes.
Ayun,
Umabol.
yes. So, bibigyan natin sa kanya yan. Samantha Cervantes.
Alright. So, anong napanalunan niya, President
Ang
Frame?
napalanunan niya ay ang headset.
Yay!
Bravo headset.
Wow.
There you
Okay,
go.
so Samantha, you just won a Rapu H100 wired stereo headset black. Congratulations. I'll PM you in the chat box na lang.
And thank you so much to our Rotarian for the sponsored items.
Okay, I guess we'll go back to our program. Kirill?
All right, now may I call on President-elect Mark Philip Banal for the awarding of Certificate of Application.
Okay. So once again, thank you very much for IPP James Jimenez. And also thank you for our PPCRB representatives, Doc Arwin. He answered some questions in the chat box. Thank you po. Can you flash the certificate?
Sorry. IPP James Jimenez. If I may ask po to share your video screen so that we can capture you together with the certificate po.
So allow me to read the certificate. A certificate of appreciation is hereby presented to Mr. James Arthur B. Jimenez for imparting his valuable insights and knowledge during the webinar entitled Rotaract Training and Seminar for the Voters Assistance Campaign held on October 30th, 2020 via Zoom. Signed by Prem Rose Cato, Transform President, Rotaract Club of Makati. So thank you very much, IPP James, for sharing your insights and knowledge to us. So, palakpakan naman natin si Sir James.
Yay!
Thank you, IPP James. I don't think that
Thank you po.
IPP James is still with us. Hindi ko na siya nakikita sa ating
Hmm.
participants. He must have
Oh.
another appointment or yeah.
We'll
Anyway,
just send this to him na lang.
all right. So we are also going to award another certificate. PE Philip.
Yep. Who's the next one? All right. Certificate of Appreciation is hereby presented to Perfect Vision President Peter Manzano for imparting his valuable insights and knowledge during the webinar entitled Rotaract Training Seminar for the Voters Assistance Campaign held on October 30th, 2020 via Zoom. Signed, Frame Rose Cato, Transform President, Rotaract Club of Makati. Thank you, Sir Peter. So, palakpakan naman natin si Sir Peter. I think Sir Peter is
Thank you, Sir Peter.
still here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank
We
you.
still have another certificate to be given
Okay,
or to be awarded
go
to
ahead.
another. Go ahead,
Last shot.
P. Philip.
Yeah. Sorry, medyo late yata dito sa akin. So, Certificate of Appreciation is hereby presented to Executive Director Maribel Buena Obra for imparting her valuable insight and knowledge during the webinar entitled Rotaract Training Seminar for the Voters Assistance Campaign held on October 30th, 2020 via Zoom. Signed, Frame Rose Cato, Transform President, Rotaract Club of Makati. Thank you very much, Ma'am Maribel. Palakpakan natin si Ma'am Maribel. Thank you
Thank
po.
you so much, Executive Director Maribel, for gracing the event.
Thank you po.
Okay, so picture na tayo.
Let's turn the time to Kirill again.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank
Go
you,
ahead, Kirill.
President-elect Mark Philip Banal. For our closing remarks, allow me to call immediate past President Elena Gana.
Hello, can you hear me, guys?
Yes, we
you're
can.
audible.
Yes po.
Ayan, lumabas na ako ng bahay kasi ang hirap talaga ng internet sa loob. So, hello everyone, good evening. First of all, I would like to thank you, our speaker, Mr. James Jimenez, for sharing a very informative topic, no? And also, thank you to our Rotary Club of Makati, and especially our President, Mr. Manzano. I would also like to thank the presence of our district Rotaract representative, Mark Rolfianto, and also past President New Abdul Qadir of RC Makati Olympia. Thank you for attending our seminar. Thank you also to past MDIO Chair Shean Moreno, and to our CRB Dr. Arvin Serrano. Thank you to Rotarian Leo Parampan, RCM Kat, and Kunki Omar Di Maruco. And to everyone, to all the Rotaract Club who attended our seminar, I hope you have learned a lot from the topic that we have. Alam nyo, this is really a helpful topic because based on our experience, as we assisted yung mga tao sa isang barangay sa Makati last October 10, I could say na hindi siya madali, no? Yung pag-fill up ng registration form, may mga questions na marami tayong mga kababayan na nahihirapan talaga sa mga requirements din. And kailangan mo magdala talaga ng patience and maraming energy, di ba? So, well, after all, at the end of the day, it's very fulfilling kasi makikita mo talaga na ang dami pang hindi nakarehistro. At yung mga ganitong bagay na matulungan natin sila sa ganitong paraan is napaka-fulfilling na, di ba, para sa atin at sa kanila rin. So I hope samahan niyo kami sa aming advocacy upang tulungan ng ating mga kapwa Pilipino na maging tunay na mamamayan ng ating bansa sa pamamagitan ng pagkaparehistro. So I am challenging everyone to encourage your Rotaract Club, your family, your friends, your colleagues and co-Rotaractors to register and practice our right to vote because your vote is your voice and your vote counts. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, IPP Cash.
Okay, now let's give the stage to President Prem for some announcements, the last round of our raffle, and adjournment.
Ayan, thank you so much to our IPP Cash. Totoo naman talagang itong seminar na to ay hindi para sa amin, kundi para sa ating lahat. And I really appreciate din yung at yung mga participants natin na nandito pa until now and nakikinig, di ba? So, before I proceed, let me go ahead and share my screen for another raffle.
All right, so I guess ipaparaffle natin ulit yung natitira pa nating Rapu H100 wired stereo headset black. And lastly, yung grand prize natin na isang JBL Go-To portable Bluetooth speaker.
Bluetooth, yes. So, wait lang. Sorry. Before you go, everyone, can I ask to please turn on your video cam? We will just have a quick photo op bago magsipag-alis.
Right.
I would really like to see your faces. I know that you've been participating all throughout this activity. So this time, I would like to for us to have a group photo, though it's virtually. Bye.
Shout out to Pipi Ju na nasa labas yata. Hi Pipi Ju. Anyway, so smile na lang po tayong lahat. I have 5 screens here, so hindi ko alam kung nasang screen kayo, so just keep on smiling. Anyway, I'll start. First screen in 3, 2, 1, smile. Another one in 3, 2, 1, smile. Third screen, 3, 2, 1, smile. Fourth screen, 3, 2, 1, smile. And last in 3, 2, 1, smile. All right, thank you everyone.
Ayan, thank you so much.
Stay pa lang kayo kasi meron pa tayong mga raffle.
Yes! So, handa na bang lahat? Gusto ko pang makita yung inyong energy sa chat box. Can you please type, Rock Makati Rocks!
Ayan. Again, ang una nating ipaparaffle, our second to the last one is one Rapu H100 wired stereo headset, black. And the grand prize later on would be the JBL Go-To portable Bluetooth speaker. Go ahead, President Prem.
Ito na, ang roleta ng kapalaran. Sino
Make
kaya
sure na nandito ka. Andito ka pa rin.
Nandito at nakikinig dahil ang code para maklaim mo ay
ang iyong presensya.
Yes.
Anyway, our winner is John Emmanuel M. Barleta. Are you here with us?
If you are here with us, John Emmanuel M. Barleta, please type. Ako po ito.
John Emmanuel Barleta is from the Rotaract Club of Bulacan State University of RID 3770. Is he here?
Andito siya. Yeah, I saw it.
Ayun.
Ako po ito. Ay, congratulations.
Congratulations. And ang pinakaantay natin, pinakahihintay yung grand prize. Siyempre naman.
Yes, for the grand prize, ang JBL Bluetooth speaker. Sino kayo mag-uuwi? Lucky winner is Jairo Allen F. Alvarez. If you are here, please type, thank you, Rock Makati. I'll give
Jairo
you 5.
Allen
Ay!
Alvarez is from the Rotaract Club of Lemery. Are you here? Is he here?
Parang wala. I'll give you 5
5
seconds.
seconds. 5,
5,
4,
4,
3,
3,
2,
2,
1.
1.
Okay,
Oh!
forfeited. Feeling ko madami nagdadasal na sana wala siya para makauna. Anyway,
Alright, next.
spin na ulit for our last up
Spin.
item. Our winner
Alright.
is... So excited.
Joyce
Ann,
Servas, sorry. If
are
you
you
are
here?
here, Joyce, please chat
Joyce Ann
me.
Serbas is from the Rotaract Club of Tarlac State University
Oh, from
of
TSU. Please
3790.
type Joyce, please type sa Zoom box or sa chat box rather. Zoom box. Sorry, tawa ako. Rock Makati Rock!
Ayan, mukhang nandito siya. Nakikita ko na yung kanyang chat. Thank you, Rock Makati. You have to type Rock Makati Rock.
Rock Makati Rock! Nawalan ako ng pag-asa. Pwede po ba na siya na lang yung ibigay nyo? By Kyle. Wow.
Okay. Yeah, so we have
Alright.
verified that our winner, Joyce Ann Serbas, is here from the Rotaract Club of Tarlac State University. Congratulations. And congratulations as well to all the winners of our raffle draw. Sayang, wala akong nakuha, President Prem.
Okay lang yan, may next time pa. At ito na nga yun, ang sinasabi kong next time ay ang aming nalalapit na Prof. Deb na Better Successful Business Owner Part 2, which will happen sa on November 21, 1 to 5 p.m. Again guys, lahat ng mga kasama namin noong Part 1, magkita-kita ulit tayo sa November 21, 1 to 5 p.m. We will post the PubMat, the proper PubMat, and then open pa rin kami for co-hosting. All you need to do is to register, send us an email, give us at least 5 members of your club that will attend or participate like what you are doing right now. So, again, hindi kami basta-basta lang nagpapa-webinar. Kasi hindi lang kayo natututo, uuwi pa kayong panalo, right?
That is
Can I
correct.
see a wow react to everyone? Wow, wow, wow. All right. Thank you so much. So that's just my announcement for our upcoming Prof. Deb. So, mag-ano na ako. Thank you so much again. Thank you so much. So, by the power vested upon me as the president of the Rotaract Club of Makati, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Makati, Rotary International District 3830, I call this Rotaract Training Seminar for the Voters Assistance Campaign adjourned.
All right.
Yan. Thank you so much.
Thank
sa
you,
mga nakikinig.
everyone. You all
I hope
have a
that
good
everyone learned a
night.
lot.